guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. Today we're going to be reacting to the Barcelona news over the past few days. Of course, last night was the Balde Renewal ceremony, and it was a great day for the club, winning 3 out of the 5 major awards during the event. But now, back to reality, where we will cover the news surrounding the club over the past few days. Firstly, we're going to focus on the January transfer window, where Barcelona have 2 priorities. Number 1, looking for a new pivot, CDM, to replace the most likely outgoing Sergio Busquets. The club have identified 2 main targets, firstly being Ruben Neves, secondly being, not in particular order, Martin Zubimendi. The club also have other backup options like Yuri Tielemans, N'Golo Kante, Jorginho, but Zubimendi and Ruben Neves are on the top of their list for a pivot, which the club will study the possibility of signing in January, alongside possibilities of a defensive reinforcement signing. Diogo Dalot right now is the main target for Barcelona in the right back position, although signing him right now is looking very unlikely, as he does want to stay at United, and also at the moment he will not be a free agent in the summer 2023, so that option slowly but surely is dwindling away. But the option of Inigo Martinez right now is gaining momentum. No doubt Barcelona has a full agreement with the player. The question now is, with Athletic Club, will they sell him this January for a good price for Barcelona, or will they run down his contract until the summer of 2023? There have been only 4 players who have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past few days as well. You can probably guess who those are. We will talk about that. We do have a contract renewal update on Alejandro Balde, who is a priority for Barcelona in terms of renewals at the current squad. And finally, we do have some big injury boosts for Barcelona ahead the last few days of the big month of October. But before we get into it, make sure you guys smash that like button down below. Let's try to get to 300 likes in this video. It'd be very much appreciated. Also, if you're new, make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Now, before we get into the video, this video is sponsored by Number 1 Foot. Number 1 Foot is one of the best replica football jersey websites on the market. They have fantastic qualities at fantastic prices. I ordered some the other day, and I got the treble winning jersey for Barcelona in the 14-15 season. The quality is absolutely unreal at a fantastic price. Look at the badge on the jersey, it is fantastic. You have the Nike logo as well, looking brilliant. It has the right tags, the right size, the right material, and it's at a fantastic price. And on their website, they do have the new Barcelona kit for this season with the Spotify logo. You can pick what badge you want on the sleeve, La Liga, Champions League. You can pick whatever number you want, whatever name you want on the back as well. And again, the material is absolutely unreal. Here I have the 2007 Champions League kit for Barcelona. As you can see, it has the UNICEF logo, the Nike, the Barcelona badge with the Camp Nou name around it. And if you use the discount code BOY at checkout, you do get 15% off your final order. That is BOY. Use it at checkout, 15% off, and all orders over $80 get free shipping as well. So go down below, top link in the description, and get your new football kit today. Let's start off with the transfer news over the past few days. Now, the first players that we have been linked with is players in the pivot position, CDM. Barcelona have made it their priority this upcoming January transfer window to look into that position and maybe sign a new player for it. Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo came out saying that in January, Barcelona wants to search the market for a pivot, although it won't be easy, neither sportingly nor economically. At the club, they point out that Frenkie de Jong and Kessie as players in the squad who may be options if no one else arrives. Now, in this article, Gabriel Sanz also mentions about the possible return of Nico Gonzalez, and that, look, it's an option, it's not a priority at the moment, but it's definitely something that's on the table for now. Now, the manager of Valencia, Gattuso, actually spoke about that possibility in his previous press conference with Valencia. He came out saying that this is the first time I'm hearing this. No player has spoken to me. Nico is working very hard and he's a great professional. He's training very well, but I have a squad, of course, of 23 or 24 players. Now, since this rumor started coming around, Nico started to play more consistently for Valencia. Over the past few weeks, he's been in and out, mostly out of the team, but now since these rumors come in, he is playing a bit more more consistent. In the end, that's Barcelona's plan. He either plays or comes back. Looks like he's going to get some game time with Valencia. And of course, we do face Valencia away at the Mestalla at the end of this month, where Nico could play. And apparently, if he does play as well, Barcelona will receive a big bonus. Now, the club are looking for a new pivot. What are the options currently? First one, of course, is Martin Zubimendi, but he has officially extended his contract with Real Sociedad. Now, as we mentioned over the past few months on the channel, we all knew that he could extend his contract for 2 or 3 more years, but the question is his release clause set at 60 million euros? Will that go up, stay the same? Looks like it has stayed the same. There are reports coming in from the Real Sociedad media saying that Barcelona target Martin Zubimendi's release clause will remain at 60 million euros despite him signing a contract renewal with Real Sociedad until 2027. So theoretically, Barcelona are still in the same place like they were a few months ago, whether he renewed his contract or not. Again, you're probably looking at 45-50 million as a good price, or you can skip negotiation and activate that 60 million euro release clause. As we all know, Zubimendi is one of the priorities for Xavi. Can Barcelona play 60 million euros for Zubimendi? Probably not in January. Definitely not unless we have some catastrophically huge sale. Can't see that happening. But I think for 45-50 million as a total package, you can maybe offer 40 plus 10, 45 plus 5. I think that would be a good option for Barcelona in Zubimendi. But there also is another option, of course, in Ruben Neves. Now, Fernando Polo from Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Jorge Mendes offered Ruben Neves again during the meeting with Joan Laporta a few days ago as a possible replacement for Sergio Busquets. But Xavi does prefer Zubimendi, who of course over the past few days has extended his contract with Real Sociedad until 2027. So it's very clear at the moment that the Ruben Neves rumors to Barcelona are real, definitely for sure, but it's more so his agent Jorge Mendes pushing him in the direction of Barcelona rather than the club wanting him. I think Ruben Neves, to me, whether you think I have ball knowledge or not, debate that if you want to, but I see Ruben Neves more so as a Frenkie de Jong, in the sense that I see him more in a Barcelona system as a box-to-box. Of course, for Wolves, he does play in that pivot, but he goes up and down a lot. He does have the license to go forward since he has, a 5 formation at the back. So I think as a single pivot for the way the Barcelona want to play, passing off in the back, sit back and become a set of 3, you possibly become, a back 3, spraying the ball, controlling the tempo. I don't really see Ruben Neves as that option. I think Zubimendi does have the potential in that position, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But of course, there are going to be those free agent options in Jorginho and also in N'Golo Kante. Mundo Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona will seek to strengthen the midfield next summer with 2 names at the top of their list right now, Ruben Neves and Martin Zubimendi, but Xavi does refer the Real Sociedad man. Kante, Jorginho, and Yuri Tielemans are also potential targets in that position. Now, we are hearing at the moment that N'Golo Kante most likely will leave Chelsea as a free agent, but the player prefers to stay in London. I think that's pretty much guaranteed him going to Arsenal. Jorginho, his priority is to renew at Chelsea. He wants to stay, although they can't reach an agreement. He'll be happy to go on a new adventure. And with Tielemans as well, looks like he'll leave Leicester as well. I think also most likely will go to Arsenal. I think the clear favorite, or that you could say the clear priority or target for Barcelona in that pivot position is Martin Zubimendi. Is he the finished product? No. Can he come right now and replace Busquets? Absolutely not. But does he have the potential to somewhat become a good player in that position? Absolutely. The question now is, can we afford him? Again, he renewed his contract for 2 more years, holding his value, not more so decreasing it or increasing it, but more so holding it. The big question now is, what will Barcelona do? But again, it looks like the club will study to sign a pivot in January. Now, along with a pivot, the club could also look for defensive reinforcements in January as well, after the injury crisis that we had at the back over the past month or so. Now, of course, the main target for Barcelona this summer will be a right back alongside a pivot. They've identified a few players. We heard about Venderson, other players. Trent has been mentioned a few here and there, but the only concrete right back that we've been linked with consistently has been Diogo Dalot from Manchester United. But Samuel Larkars of the Manchester Evening News, who of course is very close to United, one of the top 3 sources around them, he came out saying that Diogo Dalot wants to stay at Manchester United and sign a contract renewal in interest from Barcelona. Again, come to Barcelona, you're looking at being, competing for the first and second position, whether you're going to be a starter on the bench. But at Man United, he's a clear starter week in, week out, no matter what. I don't blame him. And also United do have the leverage. They do have the option to extend his contract by 1 year. If he was a free agent this summer, I'd be a bit more optimistic, but with that option to extend, I can't see us getting Dalot. And also with United wanting to keep him and Dalot wanting to stay there, it will cost that extra money to convince him to come to Barcelona as well. For me, I don't think he's worth it. I think he's probably worth 20, 25 at the most. I think Man United probably won't sell him for that. I think Dalot right now is happy to stay at United, although if Barcelona come knocking, of course, any player will consider it. But a defender who could and does have a very high chance of being signed by Barcelona in January, and could be the only signing that Barcelona actually make in January, is Inigo Martinez. Now, Fernando Polo from Deportivo came out saying that Barcelona could try and accelerate the signing of Inigo Martinez, with whom the club has already a verbal agreement with the player. If there will be issues, is still at the center back position. If Christian is still injured, Koundé, Araujo, Piqué not playing well, Barcelona could try and sign him in January if his price is affordable. Now, for me, I'm thinking at the most, not a penny over 10 million euros. Now, I'm thinking 5 plus a couple million add-on. When you think about Athletic Club right now are doing well under Ernesto Valverde. They're pushing for the top 4 European spots in La Liga. Were they really going to let go of one of their key players? Probably not. I think we're looking at Inigo Martinez as a free agent signing in the summer to replace, hopefully, the outgoing Gerard Piqué in the summer, whether it's contract termination for him, retirement, whatever it may be. Xavi is pretty keen on having 5 center backs. Look at the example that we have right now. One center back gets injured. We're all over the place. We put one at right back. Oh, another one gets injured. So I think Xavi is very keen to have 5 center backs and also leave his options open to, perform a back 3 or back 5, whatever it may be. So I think if Piqué does leave this summer, which hopefully he will, I think Inigo Martinez will be coming in as his replacement. I think Inigo Martinez still has a few more years left at a good level in La Liga. I'm not saying he's fantastic. I think he's got maybe 2 or 3 years left. I think the club, if they sign him on a free transfer, will most likely offer him a 3-year contract. But here's the most important part: verbal agreement with the player. He has already agreed to join Barcelona as a free agent next summer. It's not just Fernando Polo, it's a lot of sources in Barcelona saying this. We've been saying it, of course, since the summer that just passed. We've been going for Inigo Martinez now since 2016, 2017, for a very, very long time, and it looks like I think this summer we will end up signing him. The question now is, like we heard over the past, with Christensen, Kessie, even Eric Garcia, will Barcelona pay that extra few million euros to get him 6 months earlier? Let's now discuss the players who have been rumored to leave Barcelona over the past few days. There's only been 4 players who have been rumored to leave the club, and that is, of course, the 4 captains. We do have an update on each of their situations coming in from Javi Miguel from AES. Now, Javi Miguel, of course, injury news, he's always spot on. Sometimes he comes late, but he's always correct. Transfer news, I believe, in my opinion, he has right insight. He is very close to Xavi, and over the past few months, since Xavi's been appointed last November, he's gotten a lot of things right. Of course, he said that Batman would come in January if he didn't get Morata. He's been right over the summer as well about Koundé and Rafinha. Of course, he was coming in late. He was not breaking the news, but was confirming it. So I think his news regarding the captains is considered as not reliable news, but definitely viable news. So let's get to see what he says. He's come out saying that Busquets is the only captain who started the season with confidence from Xavi and his staff. However, the player's recent performances have disappointed them, and a debate has opened up within the club about changing Busquets' role in the current team. Xavi has to make a decision with Busquets, continue to give him an important role in the team, or leave him with few minutes like Jordi Alba and Piqué to force him to leave the club when his contract expires. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think Busquets at home against the lower oppositions, your Mallorcas, your Osasunas, your Cadiz, whatever it may be, I think he can still do a job. But in the top games like Champions League, Europa League, Copa, Super Cup, top 7-8 teams away or at home, he's finished. He cannot do the job no longer. I can really see Xavi giving him that reduced role, but I think the only way Busquets doesn't get that reduced role is, of course, the lack of backup. We saw Pjanic, loan Nico, we ain't got nobody. Of course, Frenkie de Jong can do a job there. Is he better than Busquets? I would say against the top teams, probably, but I think as a long-term replacement, Frenkie de Jong's I don't think, in my opinion anyway, that could change, that Frenkie de Jong is the future of the pivot position. Of course, you could play Kessie there, but I think Kessie is more so of a double pivot CDM, I think in a double pivot he could work well. One goes forward, one stays back. He can stay back, then they switch and switch. I think he's okay with that. I think he can do that role well. But as a single pivot, I'm not quite too sure about Kessie, but of course have not seen him play there yet, so you never know. I think, De Jong and Kessie as a double pivot could work. Put Memphis in front of them, have Lewandowski up top, whoever you want on the wings. I think that could be an option that we could study, but of course, we're way too early to think about playing a double pivot and changing our formation completely. Of course, Xavi is very strict on his formation, the way we play, the tactics, all that sort of stuff. So we'll wait and see what Busquets, but I do think his situation is very, very interesting. But again, it's almost guaranteed that when his contract does expire this summer in 2023, he will not renew and he'll leave the club, go to Inter Miami, retire, wherever they may be. Maybe go to Japan like Iniesta did, go to the Arab sides where Qatar, where Xavi went. You never know with Busquets, but I think this will be his last season at the club, and hopefully the same for the other captains as well, which Javi Miguel did give us an update. Firstly, on Sergi Roberto, Javi Miguel came out saying that Sergi Roberto's contract expires in 2023 and the club will not renew him as of now. Of course, Roberto can come and have the biggest remontada in the world, then you have to renew him, but at the current moment, the coaching staff, Xavi, and the board are not planning any renewal with Sergi Roberto. Now, the other two captains are going to be the two most difficult to get rid of. Of course, Busquets and Roberto's contract expire in 2023. So you could say that gives the club the upper hand because they get to decide whether they want to keep him or not. But with the other two, of course, in Piqué and Jordi Alba, their contract expire next summer in 2024, but of course the club will still try and get rid of them this upcoming summer. Now, firstly, on Jordi Alba, Javi Miguel came out saying that Barcelona will try to reach an agreement with Jordi Alba to terminate his contract this summer in 2023, which of course could mean he gives us all the money that he owes on his contract, we split it evenly, or we could even pay him out completely. That's still in the air. I also cannot stress this enough, I would not rule out a loan as well for Jordi Alba. We loan him out for his final year of his contract, Inter, pay 50-50, and we go from there. Because what we could do is say, look, Jordi Alba, we'll give you 50% of your contract to terminate right now. Then you can go free agent, go wherever club you want to go to. Thanks for the memories. If he says no, then you can go to a club, enter, hey, 50-50, because either way, you're going to pay 50-50 regardless, whether you terminate it right now or you go on loan for the rest of the season. So I think Barcelona can get rid of Jordi Alba. He still has some market attraction, you could say, in the top 5 leagues. So I wouldn't be too cautious about Jordi Alba. I think it'll more so come down to his decision, and hopefully the club over the last few months of the season can put some whispers in his ear, say, you know what, your time's up, we want to get rid of you, blah, 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 blah. And finally, on, of course, Gerard Piqué, Javi Miguel came out saying that Piqué's contract runs out, of course, in 2024, but Barcelona, again, want to find a way, like Jordi Alba, to terminate his contract in the summer of 2023. Don't forget about the clause in Piqué's contract. If he plays less than 35% of the matches available, the club do have the option to unilaterally, without his consent, terminate his contract. So I will keep an eye on that. I think Piqué this season, I don't think he's definitely not played double digits games, whether it's appearances or starting. I think you're probably looking at 6, 7, maybe 8 games Piqué's played this season. We gotta keep it low. I think you play Piqué, worst case scenario, you need some aerial threat in defense, whatever it may be. We need to keep him under 35% to give us that option, because I guarantee you Piqué is not gonna budge. So there's no club that will take him on loan like Jordi Alba. And I think, you know what, Piqué, unless he has some dignity, of course he came out in 2020 after Bayern Munich 8-2. The club needs new blood, and I'll be the first step away if needed. He'll look like a hypocrite. If he wants to run for president in the future after Joan Laporta, that stuff will come back to bite him. So I think out of the 4 captains, you're looking at Jordi Alba being the most difficult to get rid of. I think Piqué will have to make a decision based on his moral and based on his reputation. I think with that clause as well for Barcelona, if he plays less than 35% of the matches, we can terminate that. That's a good option for us. But I think we're looking at all 4 captains leaving this summer. I would be shocked if one of them stays. If one of them does stay, I expect it to be Piqué or Alba. I think Busquets and Roberto are finished out here. There's been rumors about the new captains. Who will they be when the captains leave? We're hearing Ter Stegen, Ansu, Frenkie, Dembele, Araujo, but that'll be voted on the players and also the club as well. I think will have a little bit of influence. I'm not quite too sure. I think more so be voted on the players. We could even see Lewandowski's name be thrown in the hat as well. Pedri, hell, maybe even Xavi. But we'll talk about that later on once the captains are all confirmed to leave. Leave me down in the comments below what you think. I would be shocked if any of the 4 stay. I think if one does stay, it could be Jordi Alba. I would say maybe even Piqué, if he's really Piqué would destroy his reputation. Look, all four of them, apart from Roberto, maybe even Jordi Alba, Piqué and Busquets are legends, pure legends of this club, and ain't nothing gonna change that. But if they want to be part of the club of the future, sporting director, scout, president, vice president, director of football, whatever it may be, this will affect them for sure. I think Jordi Alba and Roberto, you could say, are two icons of Barcelona, not really legends. Of course, they played a lot of games, but in my opinion, they have not achieved too much. They both won one Champions League, I think a few La Liga titles, but I would say they both need one more Champions League to give them that legendary status, which of course most likely they will miss out on. So wait and see on the captains. Again, leave me thoughts down below. How many captains you think will stay past this summer? Again, for me, I'd be shocked if any one of them stayed, but I think the club right now are definitely planning to get rid of all four captains by the end of 2023, the summer, of course. Let's now discuss the contract renewal updates surrounding Barcelona over the past few days. We do have only one update, and that is on the contract renewal of Alejandro Balde, which without a doubt right now, currently at the club, is one, probably if not the priority. Now, Inigo Martinez from Cope came out saying that Joan Laporta wants to renew Alejandro Balde's contract as soon as possible, despite the fact that his contract actually ends in 2024, not in 2023. Therefore, that's why he met Jorge Mendes a few days ago, with Jorge Mendes, of course, trying to close it as well. So Jorge Mendes, Alejandro Balde, and the club all want to renew his contract, of course, secure him for the future. This season, he's been great. I think, since the preseason started and Xavi trusted him, he's shown why he could be a potential future great left back for Barcelona. And of course, you could say for the whole entire Culé fan base right now, the undisputed starter in that position ahead of Marcos Alonso, veteran, and Jordi Alba, veteran as well. I think Balde has a huge future ahead of him. He's in the likes of the names of, Ansu, Xavi, Pedri, Dembele, Frenkie. He's part of that core group that hopefully will be the future of this club. But again, you have to time down. There is interest. We're hearing some Spanish clubs have been interested, some Serie A clubs, not so much from the Premier League, but you do hear the sources from Premier League as well. So we got to time down as soon as possible. Hopefully we can get this done by the end of the January transfer window, but I don't really see or feel much intent from Barcelona to do any renewals. We still want to renew Iñaki Peña, Arnau Martinez, Balde. You have maybe Memphis as well, whose contract will expire in 2023. So the club, I think, should start moving now on some renewals. Of course, this time last year, I think we renewed already Pedri. We're talking with Araujo, talking with Xavi as well, and Ansu Fati. I think actually we did Ansu and Pedri right this time last year. Then we're gonna start focusing on Araujo and Xavi later on down the line. So hopefully the club start to make moves on contract renewals. Without a shadow of a doubt, Balde though is the number one priority for the club. Now the final topic that I want to discuss before I end off this video is give you guys some injury updates surrounding Barcelona over the past few days. Now of course over the weekend we got the injury recovery of course of Jules Koundé, who got the green light, put the full nutting in the Clasico, so he's now fully back, ready to go. But we do have an update on 3 other injured players: Memphis Depay, Hector Bellerin, and Andreas Christensen. Having come from AS, of course, number one source around injury players, injury news, injury updates. He's come out saying that here are the expected return dates for the rest of the 3 injured players. Of course, Araujo, we're looking at 2023 again. Maybe somehow miraculously he makes the World Cup. I highly doubt that. Is it possible? Yes, but Araujo, 2023, 2022 with Barcelona is officially over. 3 big players. Firstly, Memphis Depay is expected to be back apparently midweek against Villarreal, although it could be Athletic Club. I think by the end of the 23rd on Sunday, of course, Memphis Depay will get the green light and will be back. Bellerin is expected to be back by the end of this week as well against Athletic Club over the weekend. And then Christensen should return midweek against Bayern Munich. So the most important thing is after we play Bayern Munich in about a week tomorrow, all 3 of these players should be back, which I think will be a huge, and I mean huge, boost. Lewandowski, poor guy, has been playing week in, week out. He needs some rotation, and Depay is there for that. Right back, we look clueless. We're going to probably see Koundé there sooner rather than later. Roberto's being absolutely wasteful there. Bellerin, not the perfect option. He's not great, but he's the only natural right back we have in the team. And of course, Christensen will prevent, of course, Alonso playing at center back. Eric Garcia, you could say, needs to be dropped. He's been very poor over the past few games. Well, he hasn't been poor in his performance, but he keeps making freaking individual mistakes every single week. So, gotta punish him for that. Christian comes back in. You could say right now, Christensen is a more established and better center back than Eric Garcia. So, Hopefully by the end of this, hopefully in a week, we will have all 3 back. We're looking at having at least 2 back by the end of this weekend. Hopefully Memphis Depay can be back midweek on Thursday. Even if he gets a green light and it's on the bench, I think that'll be a massive positive. But again, big injury boost is coming out for Barcelona within the next week. So that was my reaction to the Barcelona news over the past 24 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and of course, leave me your thoughts down below in the comments on everything we discussed. But the main thing I want to firstly, of course, is about the January transfer window. What do you think Barcelona should do, and what do you think we'll actually do? We'll look for a pivot, sign a pivot. We'll try to reinforce the defense. Think we'll actually sign Inigo Martinez, maybe someone else. Secondly, of course, on the captains leaving, leave me your prediction down below. All 4 leave, 3, 2, maybe even 1. Let me know. Also, your thoughts on Alejandro Balde's contract renewal. Should it be a priority for the club right now? Should we be doing it as soon as possible? Or since his contract expires in 2024, we do have some time to negotiate. And finally, your thoughts on those big injury boosts for Barcelona. And of course, make sure you guys subscribe down below if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys next time on the channel. Take care and Forza Barca.